let's go to another one with actually is going to have some transformations. This one is going to be y, 2 plus 2 cosecant of x. All right, so on this one, again, we're not going to have a change in the period like we did up here because you can see there's no coefficient of x. But again, I'm not going to think about this in terms of cosecant. I'm going to go ahead and write y equals, let's go, a 2 sine of x plus 2. I always like to have the plus 2 at the end. I don't know. It gets familiar with me. I like to have that vertical shift at the end, okay? But we need to go and identify our amplitude. Again, this is going to be how high and or the half distance from the max and the min of from our sine graph. So again, I'm identifying this amplitude, but that's to help me graph sine. Cosecant does not have amplitude. So I'm just writing this stuff down so I can make sure I graph sine correctly. So therefore I can graph cosecant. But I want to clarify, cosecant does not have an amplitude. So I am finding the amplitude of my sine function. In that case, it's going to be the absolute value of 2, which in this case is just 2. Okay, and that is because of that 2 right there. My period is still going to be 2 pi because there's no coefficient of the x here. So it's just going to be a 2 pi. 2 pi divided by 1 is just 2 pi. So therefore, my x scale is going to be 2 pi divided by 4, which is going to be pi halves. So that's going to be similar to what we have for our parent graph. And then we're going to see any other shifts. And you can see, yes, I have a vertical shift, and then we can say up 2. Okay, so when we have a vertical shift, when I'm graphing trig functions, I like to do something a little bit different. And again, this comes into what we're doing with like how we're explaining, showing our work to our teacher, okay? So I always like to recreate a new x-axis, all right? So if I'm shifting up 2, that means my whole graph, like think about this. Here's your original graph, right? If you're shifting it up 2, your new like x-axis is also kind of like you want to like kind of have this line where the old x-axis was to kind of visualize how that graph is turning and intercepting, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new kind of x-axis. So let's do here's 2. So I'm going to draw a nice little dash line. That's going to help me kind of remember where the graph is going to intercept. Now I do have a x scale of 2 pi. So I'll say here is 2 pi. Half of that is going to be pi. This will be pi halves. And this will be 3 pi halves. Okay, something very familiar you should be with the parent graph that we have. Now, what's also important is my graph has a amplitude of 2. So over here, if you remember my sine graph went up 1 and down 1. Now, I kind of made this pretty big, and I'm kind of thinking I should do the same here. So my scale here is, I'll just make, let's do that 1 and then that 2. Okay, so what that's going to mean is my graph is going to go up 2 units and down 2 units. And again, that's going to be from this dashed line. So there's 1, 2, and then I can go 3 and then 4. Okay, so my graph is not shifting left or right. It has the exact same x scale. But if I'm going to recreate this graph from here, let me actually bring this down a little bit more because I am kind of losing a little space. So here's kind of like my new x-axis because everything got shifted up 2 units. So again, I'm going to start here. It's going to go up to here, down to here. And then my minimum is going to be down 2 units from here, which is going to be up here. And then it's going to come right back there. So it's going to go up, down, here, and there. And again, guys, this is for my familiarity with the sine function. All right, now, once we have sine written down, now it's really easy. Now we can just go ahead and quickly get in our cosecant. So again, all of my intercepts, even though these aren't actual intercepts they're not the natural x-intercepts up here, those are the x-intercepts if there was no vertical shift. So, but they're still going to create asymptotes because they're going to make the cosecant undefined, even though we're shifting it up 2. Okay, and that's really, really important. The cosecant at these angles is still undefined. It's just we have this +2 that's going on from there. And then these points are going to remain the same. And then I'm just going to have my nice little u's that, because again, we always have to approach your vertical asymptotes. All right, and then again, don't forget, let's get rid of that. We can even get rid of the dashed line if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave it there because you can see the green is what exactly I am graphing.